Hey there. So I'm just coming back for a quick little um, commentary, I guess, because something kind of caught my attention this morning. And, sometimes you see things on social media and you like it, or you might just scroll by, or you may notice it and kind of think, oh, yeah, it's true, or whatever. And you just don't really do anything else with it. Well, this morning was one of those times where I saw a post and I not only commented, but my brain has been kind of tossing it around all morning. So I said, you know what? I just really want to talk about this a little bit. So, what the post was basically being in a relationship with someone who may be narcissistic or has unhealed issues, and kind of like maybe thinking, okay, if you're empathic, you tend to gravitate towards people who, maybe need your help. Maybe it's because, they like the fact that you try to understand them, try to help them, try to guide them. I don't know. So basically, the post was sort of saying that this is kind of a one-way street, and that people who are in relationships like this need to recognize that and maybe move on, or maybe not engage in this sort of behavior. So I've been thinking about it, and of course I did comment, and it's kind of still going on a little bit, just because now I'm asking questions, and I'm asking questions of myself as well. So while I thought about this, I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna hop on here and give my fresh perspective as part of my trying to work through issues within my own life. Why not? Why don't we all share the knowledge as we try to understand things? So one of the things that I really think is important when you are drawn to someone else, whether it's romantic, a relative, a mentor, a partner of any kind, a friend, sometimes you're drawn towards people that you don't click with. Maybe that person just rubs you the wrong way and they're constantly in your face, and you're like, you don't like that, but for whatever reason, you're drawn towards that person, and they engage you. So why is that? Why is that we can't just block everybody from our lives and just not engage in that? And my opinion is that I think that that's part of our process in healing. And whether it's healing like a drastic event or some sort of major wound in your, in your person, it could just be part of evolving to the next step. So what I mean by that is that we all have things that we do that aren't really for our better good, like avoiding issues, like I talked about in the video yesterday. And that might seem like that's a good thing, because when you avoid confrontation, for example, you're not creating friction, drama, anger, a lot of the negative things that we associate with bringing people down. But the problem is, by avoiding something, you are only prolonging the issue, because eventually it's going to come back around, and guaranteed, it comes back around. So my thoughts on a relationship in which it's seen that one partner is maybe draining the other, for example. And this can be interchangeable. I mean, we all have empathy, and we all have the ability to connect to that. But depending on what you're going through in your life, sometimes you will have stronger connections than other times. And sometimes your partner may be, in a better place than you are. And so you can kind of change it back and forth. It's not all one person's good, all one person's bad. It never is that way. And really, that's just a matter of perspective anyway. So the way I see it is, what we're drawn to, especially when we're drawn to one particular person and it doesn't seem to go away, and others around us may say, you know what, just, that's just a negative situation, just move along, or, just, why can't you just, go be by yourself, or whatever they say, because people always seem to know what's best for you, right? Because they see things from an outside perspective and they're not in the middle of the dynamic that's going on. But what I want to point out is that why are we drawn to some people that seem to engage us in this push and pull, very intense, very emotional, very challenging dynamic? And the reason why I feel that we are drawn to people like that is because this is what is inside of us that needs some sort of change, that needs to be addressed. People can push our buttons. People can give us reason to react. But it is entirely our choice whether we react or not. And it's our choice who we allow in our lives. So by having boundaries and setting expectations, you will not only change the dynamics of people around you, but you will create a sense of peace and a sense of self-preservation. So when you choose to engage with someone who maybe pushes your buttons or maybe is seen as toxic or however everyone else might perceive them, you are choosing to engage because there is something that you're trying to do, consciously or unconsciously. And that begs to be determined, because you will not figure out what that is until you address it. So avoiding it will not help. Procrastinating it will not help. Pushing it to the side, maybe even having such boundaries where you don't interact with that person for an extended period of time, which is hard to do if it's a family member or, a coworker or something. I mean, we don't always have control over situations. But again, you have control over how you react to them. So let's say this person constantly is negative or nasty. It can be really tough, especially if you feel disrespected or dismissed or just mistreated. People are very defensive in that way. It can be very tough not to feed into that. But again, you have control over your reaction. So once you learn to control how you react, maybe spin the situation around a little bit and, like they say, kill them with kindness. It could totally not do a thing, but you know what? It might change the dynamic. So this just really got me thinking, because I'm like, there is a reason why we are connected with certain people on a deeper level than other people. And this is exactly it. It's because it's part of our own work that we have to do. And when you recognize that and you look inward instead of looking outward at these external influences that don't really matter, when you pick things apart and you actually look at the facts of what's going on. Look inside yourself and try to figure out, why am I upset because of this situation going on? What is it about this person and the actions that I perceive as being, bad or inappropriate or, having a bad effect on me? What is it? Why? Why is it? What is it? And why am I continuing to let that be an issue? How can I change what I'm feeling, what I'm doing? The whole instigating behind it is really my internal thoughts and processes and the way that I'm trying to process what's going on. When you think about it like that, you actually have a lot more power than you may realize. You know, we don't have power over a lot of things in our lives. There's a lot of external circumstances and issues going on in this world that we will never actually have complete power over. But the power of understanding that will actually make your life a lot simpler and allow you to learn these lessons and move forward, so that you don't have to constantly repeat these same habits, the same cycles, the same negative thought patterns time after time. Time for healing, time for figuring out how to have a happy life, because as I said, that is what we all really want, is a happy life. So thank you for listening. Hopefully you kind of understand some of what I'm talking about. And I just feel like we're all trying to just figure out what seems like complicated emotions and relations with different people. But at the end of the day, I feel like we're all working towards the same thing. So it's all good. All right. Take care, y'all.